There are a couple of reasons why we learn Gemara and why your kids should learn how to learn Gemara, and it's very good for their development, and there are some reasons why we don't learn Gemara. Some of the reasons we don't learn Gemara are, number one, to become a Talmud Chacham. That is not the reason we learn Gemara. Number two, to become the Gadol Hador. That is not the reason we learn Gemara. If you learn Gemara to become a Talmud Chacham, you are learning Gemara lo lishma, not for the proper reason. Lishma, for the sake of Hashem, to become closer to Hashem. If you learn to become the Gadol Hador, and you were told that if you try your best, you can become the Gadol Hador, and it's all dependent on your will, unfortunately, you have not been told the truth. It could be that you will become the Gadol Hador, but the fact that it's all dependent upon your will is not true. It is a gift from Hashem to become the Gadol Hador. And statistically, based on the tzaddikim and Gadolim we have had in the past, if you are past a certain age and you haven't done all the things they have done, it's very unlikely you'll become the Gadol Hador. The reasons why we do learn Gemara. The first one is because being Amul B'Torah is one of the main points of creation. The intellectual attachment that we have with the Devar Hashem through deep contemplation and trying to work out and filter out, and like it says, V'salsala u'neromemeka. A little bit complicated, but the idea being when we try to separate, be mevarer, the sugya, and come out with halacha, liba de hilchasa, halacha lemaisa, we are becoming completely bound to Hashem in a very deep intellectual way, and because the Torah is a manifestation of Hashem's oneness, right? That's why Torah is like water, because water drips from a high place and always descends to a lower place. It's yared mimakum gavoy l'makum namuch. And Hashem's will is mislabish and is expressed in very physical things, like the laws of property damage and the laws of transactions and, everything, eating and all these other things that we have. But that's the will of Hashem. So when we contemplate that intellectually, we bind ourselves with Hashem on a very deep level because we're using our machshava, which is the most inner utensil and vehicle that our soul can use to express itself of the three: action, speech, and thought. Thought being the most inner. And therefore, when we use it, we connect in a very deep way. The more practical reason why we learn Gemara, that was the spiritual reason. The practical reason we learn Gemara is because when we can analyze information like God and like the Chachamim, and in the most Jewish way possible, you can own your life. You can be sovereign over every single detail that you encounter. You will own every single bit of information that you come in contact with. You will be able to analyze it, cross-reference it, point out stiras or difficulties or contradictions, come to resolutions, challenge those resolutions, go back and try to put the pieces together to form some sort of pattern, make connections, different types of connections. You will own your life, and you will have the tools for analyzing and putting together and being mivarer and coming to levels of clarity and separating the important from the not important aspects of your life. This is what you learn from learning Gemara. I personally have realized that once I learned how to learn Gemara, I can learn anything if I wanted to. So that, for me, is extremely empowering. So in the future, when you want to explain to your kids why we learn Gemara, it is not to become a Talmud Chacham. That is a gift. If you try really hard, you might become a Talmud Chacham, but that is not your incentive. Or you are not trying to be the Gadol Hador. That is not up to you. So it's either because we are spiritually binding ourselves to Hashem, which anyone who has learned Gemara B'Iyin knows exactly what I'm talking about, or it's because of the very practical reason of owning all the information in a godly way, just as a Jew should. So make sure your kids figure out how to learn Gemara so you set them up on a path that they will be able to become governing, sovereign, and boss type of adults.